And these families, if you look at how we as Africans organize family, community, nation, civilization, it was always grounded in a vision of the divine.
Come on.
A desire to understand the will of the Creator as regards how we live our lives upon this creation that the Creator created for us. How we express that in family life, in community life, in nation building. That has always been Africans since time immemorial. When we contemplate in the realm of the deity, in the realm of the divine, we didn't just see one God sitting on the throne. The concept, the one God concept was with us, but within that, we saw a community of deities. At the head or at the helm of which there was a male and female. Head God, head goddess. That's nation, that's a nation concept. So even in the spiritual sense, we saw our God, our gods, our deities. We saw our Creator occupying and ruling over a community, a divine community. Are you all with me, brothers and sisters? A community of deities. And so our objective as African people was to build the kingdom of God. Or to emulate the kingdom of God or the kingdom of the deities here on earth. That's why we built families. That's why we built communities which were the extension of the family. That's why we built nations which was an even broader extension of family and community. Are you all with me so far, brothers and sisters? I can't hear you. You've got to sleep. You can't have me up here doing all the show and carrying on, brothers and sisters. And you don't want to open your mouth. Are you with me, brothers and sisters? Tendai Mwari. So it was a divine prerequisite. In fact, Africans since time immemorial understood that we are gods by nature. And we are gods who created an earthly experience. Or an earthly kingdom so we could have an earthly experience, a physical experience. So we are the same spirit force from that divine realm who have occupied a spiritual form, a spiritual being, in order to have a physical being, in order to have an earthly experience. But our essence, our true nature is divine. That's our true nature of being, is divine. This is why if we study African traditions, we look at the spirit, or we look at the principle of nation building right across the African continent. Let's not get confused by the present boundaries and borders that we see in Africa, and the names that each entity within those borders are being given. That's not based on our authentic traditions. We do the best we can with them until we can do better. But we didn't create willingly, we didn't describe a Nigeria in Africa, a Gold Coast in Africa, an Ivory Coast, a Rhodesia, a South Africa. We didn't make those entities, we didn't draw those boundaries. Some of them we've renamed since. But I'm talking about the original carving up of our African continent. The original decimation of our African continent by our oppressors, whose intention it was to organize geographical entities that would enable them for their own benefit and their own purpose. And that would enable them to subdue us as African people and control us as African people. So they were not described for and in our interest. But if we look at the original nation that we created in Africa,
break it down.
all our nations bore the name of our spiritual system.
Come on.
You all with me?
Yes.
So we talk about the Yoruba tradition. We know that's a spiritual system.
That's right.
A traditional spiritual system.
Right.
Is that correct, brothers
Yes.
and sisters? An indigenous, it is also, as well as an indigenous spiritual system, it's an indigenous nation.
Yes.
It's an indigenous original African nation.
Yes.
We talk about Akan tradition. But Akan tradition is a spiritual system at the same time. It describes a nation.
Yes.
The Igbo tradition also is a spiritual system, an indigenous spiritual system, but also describes an indigenous nation. You all with me?
Yes.
We can say the same of Zulu. We can say the same of Xhosa, Shona,
That's right.
Ndebele,
Yeah.
Kikuyu, Masai,
Yeah.
Herero,
Yeah.
Nama. All of these, Lingala,
Yeah.
all Bakongo, all of these are spiritual systems.
That's right.
Indigenous spiritual systems, which were at the same time nations.
Yes.
So our nations were grounded and built in spiritual consciousness. Our vision to celebrate the presence of the Spirit of the Divine in our earthly lives. To celebrate and to give expression to our spiritual vision through the construct of nations that were designed to build the kingdom of the deities right here on earth. To celebrate, to cultivate and celebrate righteousness right here on the earth. We didn't create nations for the purpose of oppressing other nations or for the purpose of oppressing the subjects of that nation, but to elevate everyone within the nation to our God status, our goddess status. Are you all with me, brothers and sisters? That's why we say glorify your own nation. For in the glorification of our own nation, we are also glorifying our Creator. You all with me, brothers and sisters? You can't separate it in the African context. So we can't be confused in this time as Africans as to what an African nation means to us as a people. 10-9 Mari.